Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deepsouth Homestead. We're out here in our potato garden this morning. We've got the wind blowing, probably going to mess with the camera a little bit. But guys, we realized that our white Yukon Gold potatoes are ready to dig. And like always, white potatoes never really do good here. They usually only bear 1 to 3 potatoes per plant, and if it's more than that, they're usually just little tiny potatoes. So we decided to go ahead and dig the Yukon Gold just to see what this variety we got from Hoss Tool would do for us. And guys, I'm well satisfied with them. They're doing fairly decent right now. I have to admit, the plants are not all totally dead, but because of insect problems and all, we're having to get them out of the ground. I was just going to show you a little bit about what I'm talking about. See, there's usually only like there's a third one starting right there, but usually you get 2 potatoes per plant, and they're decent size when you get 2 of them like this. But when you go to more than 2, you get like 1, 2, when you get to 3, you got a couple of little ones there, but look at the piece. This is the thing that got me. The seed potatoes were so large, but yet they only had 1 eye on a piece that big. Now that thing is still just as solid and hard as it can be. It's a good potato, nothing wrong with it. But that's how big the pieces were. And then this is what we're looking at. On this potato here, the fire ants have done burrowed holes down into it. So when we put these into storage, we're going to have to go through and get these out first and use those to eat, because the ants have already burrowed into it and it will not keep. But let me tell you something. Wanda and I, so we can see that, like I'm telling you, when we get more than 2 potatoes on a plant, they get little. We'll always have 1 bigger one, but the rest of them will be small like this. Now, we're very satisfied with them. I think that's going to be some good eating for me and Ms. Wanda. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to do a taste test on them here in the next day or 2 to see how it works out. Because a Yukon Gold is what we always call rich man's potato down here where we live at, because they're so expensive when you go in a grocery store that most people bypass them unless you got unless you got extra money to spend, because the Yukon Golds are just expensive potatoes. So we're going to do a taste test here in the near future, and we're going to see, is the Yukon Gold really better than the rest of them? I mean, right now, Deepsouth Homestead's own potato we've saved is our number 1. The French fingerling is our number 2 potato. The crescent fingerling and the white Russian fingerling they're neck and neck, so that's going to be our 3rd varieties, even though there's 2 of them. That's the 3 that we'll fall back on. Now we've ate the blue ones, they're okay. We've tried the red New Orleans, not good for us. Now we have the Yukon Golds will be our next one to try, and we're going to see, does the Yukon Gold live up to its name? Is it really gold? Is it really worth that much to have the Yukon Gold? Alright guys, this is about a 45-foot row. We only have 1 because that's all we can cut out of 10 pounds of potatoes. I've got basically about 45 to 50 plants here because I planted them about a foot apart. We're going to see just how many potatoes this makes for us on 1 row of the Yukon Gold. Okay guys, we finished digging the Yukon Golds. We've got, out of today, we got 3/4 of a bucket. A couple of days ago when we was experimenting with them and test digging them, we dug a 2-gallon bucket full the other day. So we probably all together got 5 gallons off of a 45-foot row of potatoes. We planted 10 pounds and got back 25. So not a big return, but it doubled, it more than doubled what it was supposed to. But I would still plant them just because they just look like they're a good potato. I mean, some of them are still nice sized potatoes. We don't have any problem with them. I mean, they look good. I will say this, the imported fire ant, now we're not talking about the regular fire ant, we're talking about the imported fire ant. They burrow holes in them like that, and that'll make them go bad, so that'll be the ones we have to use. We noticed the fire ants love these more than they do the other potatoes. And I guess that may be due to the simple fact that maybe they're just that good. I don't know yet. We're going to do a taste test on them here in a few days, and we're going to see if it's really worth it for us here at Deep South Homestead to plant these. Because I mean, one row in the garden, I could do that. If they're good enough and they taste good enough for me to set aside a whole row to plant them on, then we'll see how it goes. I'm willing to sacrifice a row for these because you don't get a big return. Not in the south. Now up north, where it's cooler at, you might get a better return, but our sandy soil here and the imported fire ant problem, you know, we had to throw a lot away because fire ants dug into them and ruined them. So we're going to find out in the future. We're going to do a taste test video here in the next few days, and we're going to see just how well the Yukon Golds actually taste, because if they taste as good as everybody says they do, now I don't buy them at the store, never have, because we always raise the little red ones because they were the ones that was the best here as far as production wise. We tried the white potatoes here, not sure it was the Yukon Golds my daddy used to try. I don't think it was. I think it was just a plain white potato. I don't even know the name of them, but he always told me, he said, if you're looking for production, don't plant these because they won't make more than 1 or 2 potatoes per plant. And if they do, they'll be small. Proved true, what he told me was accurate for our region. But we never talked about taste, my dad and I. We never talked about that. So it's time in my life for me to determine whether or not I'm interested in them. Because I'm all about taste. If something tastes good to me, I don't care if it don't make a lot. I will designate a place to put it if it's got a taste that I like. So hang with us, check us out in the near future, and see what we decide when we taste test the Yukon Gold. Thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.